Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to those on Teams, as well as those sat in the room. It's good to be here, and it's especially my pleasure to welcome our new councillor, Councillor David Bullenberg. Welcome. On a more general note, good evening, everybody, and thank you for attending the meeting of Cabinet on Wednesday, the 16th of October. I'll now outline some housekeeping rules. There are no planned fire alarms, so if it does sound, please leave by the emergency exits. And can I request that all mobile phones are kept on silent or switched off? Thank you. We'll start with introductions. My name is Councillor Jackie Alty, and I'm Leader of the Council and Cabinet Member for Strategy and Reform.
Evening, everybody. I'm Aniela Belinsky-Gelder. I'm the Deputy Leader of the Council and I'm the Cabinet Member for Communities and Housing.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Councillor Matthew Tomlinson. I'm the Council's Cabinet Member for Finance, Assets and Commercialisation.
Sorry, good evening. Councillor Kath Unsworth, Cabinet Member for Environment and Street Scene.
Councillor Claire Hunter, Councillor for Bamber Bridge East and also Cabinet Member for Leisure and Wellbeing.
Councillor Matthew Farnworth, Cabinet Member for Culture, Community Wealth Building and Licensing.
Hello there, Councillor Ian Watkinson, Cabinet Member, Economic Growth, Planning and Investment.
Sorry, I'm Chris Sinnott. I'm the Council's Chief Executive.
Chris Moister, I'm the Director of Governance and Council's Monitoring Officer.
Sarah Bullock, Deputy Chief Executive.
Neil Halton, Head of Finance.
Asim Khan, Director for Customer and Digital Services.
Gail Wooden, I'm the Director of Planning and Property.
Oral Asprey, Democratic Member Services Officer.
Thank you for that. I'd like to issue a warm welcome to Neil, who will be starting as Director in post in January. Nice to have you. So just members of the Cabinet are attending in person here at the Civic Centre with officers. Other members of the Council may also dial into the meeting via Teams to observe and or participate in the meeting. Please note that this meeting is recorded and live streamed on YouTube. The web link for this can be found on the Council's website. Members on Teams are asked to keep their microphone on mute and only on mute when they wish to speak. I'll now move to the first item on the agenda. Do we have any apologies?
Yes, Chair, I've had apologies from Councillor Colin Sharples.
Noted, thank you. And can I ask if there are any declarations of interest relating to any items on the papers tonight? I just make a note of saying that I am councillor for Farrington East Ward, and one of the papers relates to that tonight, but I do not have any personal interest other than representing the residents. Thank you. So we have the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any points of accuracy on the minutes from Cabinet members? No. Members in the room? Members on Teams? Thank you. Right, I'm going to propose that we move that. Seconder?
Seconded.
And we take a vote. Thank you. Right, thank you. So with those papers agreed, we can move on to item 4, which is the Cabinet Forward Plan. Does anybody have any questions about the Forward Plan, which is accessible on MugGov and on the internet? Anybody in the chamber? Anyone on Teams? Nope. Okay, well, we'll move on to item 5. Thank you. So item 5 will be presented by Aniela. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. This is a report for the Stanleyfield Lane crossing in Farrington. It's to approve the establishment of the project to install a pedestrian crossing at Stanleyfield Lane, to via 70,000 from the Neighbourhood Improvement Fund and create a new capital budget for the Stanleyfield Lane crossing. I'm happy to take any questions or comments if anyone wants.
Okay. Well, as I stated earlier, I do have a resident's interest in this, but I'll save my comments to the end. So does anybody in Cabinet wish to speak to this paper? Councillor Farnworth.
Thanks, Leader. I think it's a really good proposal. We all know some of the difficulties the residents in Farrington and people from Leyland and surrounding areas have when crossing the road to access, particularly Farrington Park. So I'm in total favour of this, and I just sort of want to put on record that I hope Farrington Parish Council work with us to secure some of the monies as well. So I think that's a really good project.
Thank you. Any other comments on this item in Cabinet? No? Members in the room? No? Okay, members on Teams? No, thank you. Okay, well, I would like to say that this is a hard fought for and really well worked up agenda item. So I want to thank the officers for all the times that they've put into it. I know Councillor Wharton-Hardman and myself, well, actually Councillor Wharton-Hardman, before I was elected, was lobbying for this. And I just joined in the fray when I came to be a councillor in 2019. I think with the extensive building developments that have gone on in the area, it's a well-needed move. And despite the fact that we could not get agreement from county, we identified that there is clearly a need. There is increased traffic. There are developments involving logistics, and it only takes one motorway to close and we're backlogged, and people's patience is tested frequently. Parents and children struggle to get across the road at different times. So I'm really pleased that we can go ahead with it. So I'd like to second that motion. So can we take a vote on the paper before us, please? Thank you for your votes. Moving on to item 6, which is the Margaret Road play area replacement, and that's for Matthew Tomlinson to speak to. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. And talking of items that have taken a while to come before Cabinet, this is another one, although it's not been around as long as the Stanleyfield Lane crossing. I'm really pleased to be able to bring this forward tonight. Yet another state-of-the-art children's playground to be developed by this administration, and it's a sign of our real commitment to the health and well-being of our young people. Riverside Play Area on Margaret Road in Middlefirth, for those who know it, is right up against the River Ribble. So it's just in South Ribble, but very much a South Ribble playground. The delay to this, we've had this in the budget for at least 2 and maybe 3 years. The delay in delivery is because of major flood defence works that have been carried out by the Environment Agency in the area. In fact, one of their compounds has been next to this play area for probably a couple of years. So it simply wasn't appropriate to bring this project forward before. But now that work is finished, we can get on and get this delivered. Not only will this be one of the new state-of-the-art accessible playgrounds that we all recognise now because we've all got them dotted around the borough. There'll also be a wetland nature reserve there. The car park's going to be improved, and I think this will be a fantastic community asset. And I'm sure that the councillors for Middlefirth will really appreciate it. And indeed, the residents in that. I almost called it Lower Penwitham, but you can't call it that, so I haven't done. But it'll be a great community asset in that part of the borough, and I'm delighted to bring it forward. So the purpose of the report is to bring forward the appointment of the main contractor, and that Cabinet approve the appointment of Compan, who we've worked with before, as the main contractor for a fixed price of £200,000. And as I say, I'm absolutely delighted to bring it forward and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Right, I'm going to put it out to Cabinet for any comments. Right. Any teams? Oh, any members? Councillor Keith Martin.
Thank you, Leader. We appreciate the lack of description of where it is from the Cabinet member. We always try and maintain that it is all Penwitham and there's no upper or lowers. That park has been sort of like not derelict, but has been a sore sight for many eyes for many years. And I wonder how many generations of children have sort of grown up thinking that they're seriously impoverished. But I think this investment in that area will do a wealth of good. It'll help kickstart any other business that we have there that we want to take forward. And just congratulate the Cabinet member for putting it forward as it is now. But obviously we're a bit upset because of the delay, but hey ho.
You want to respond to that? You're happy?
Yeah, I said I wouldn't describe it like that, so I didn't. But no, I'm grateful for the supportive comments. And as I said, these play areas, they're really well received by local communities. And in fact, we're getting something of a reputation across Lancashire as well. And I don't know if people saw it recently. There was a news item on the Northwest News about there's a grassroots campaign now in Liverpool because they're not investing in playgrounds and they're getting parents getting together. We don't have that here because we have fantastic playgrounds.
That's great. Any other members in the room wish to comment? No? Any members on Teams? Okay then, well, I'm happy to second that proposal. And I want to say absolutely about the accessibility and inclusivity drive that this council has. And it's not many years ago that I was driving in and out when I was going to work in Bolton, Burnley, Skelmersdale and different areas, that I was told about this special playground. And it was actually in South Ribble. And it was the only one in the area some years ago that had accessibility equipment. And now it's become part of our brand, if you will. The way that we serve our residents is to build up that inclusivity, acknowledging that everybody matters. So if we can move to the vote, that would be great. Cabinet. Thank you. That's smashing. Okay, now I'm going to hand over to Councillor Ian Watkinson to present item 7.
Thanks very much, Leader. So this meaty report refers to the Lancashire Enterprise Zone site at Salisbury. It seeks permission to adopt a revised local development order, or LDO, master plan and transport assessment documents, which would be used by council officers for development management purposes. Lancashire Enterprise Zone status was first granted by central government in 2011, and an LDO and master plan were adopted in 2014. Both of those expired in February 2024, but have been updated as some works have already been done. But some of the parcels of land remain undeveloped. If adopted, the proposed documents will run for a further 10 years, at which point it will be reassessed. So together, the LDO and master plan conditionally extend permitted development rights to development within the EZ or enterprise zone boundary and set down the principles of design and development for the site. The same information was presented for noting at Planning Committee on the 10th of October, and the recommendation to Cabinet is that members agree to proceed with the adoption of the LDO and master plan documents. Thanks very much.
Okay, so do any Cabinet members have any comments on this report? Any members in the room? Any questions? No. Any members on Teams? No. Okay, thanks. So yeah, I'd be happy to second. No, is there something?
No, sorry, there isn't.
No.
Keep moving.
So I'm happy to second this. I think anything that moves us forward in terms of economic growth planning and investment is important. So I'm happy to second, and we'll move it forward to the vote. Thank you. Thanks. Done. Right, okay, we'll move on to item 8, and that's for Councillor Kath Unsworth to push forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. This is just to ask for the readoption of the proposed public space protection orders related to the control of dogs within the borough. Aims to create a more consistent approach and balance the needs of dog owners with those of other members in the community. And it will also assist the council's zero tolerance approach to dog related issues. It is just reintroducing ones that have already existed but lapsed. Thank you.
Are you proposing? Thanks. Right, okay, do any members of the Cabinet have any comments whatsoever? Councillor Hunter?
Hi, could it be possible to get clarification on the areas the dogs can't go into and which areas dogs can be let loose on? Because as we know, you take your dogs to the park, throw a ball, so we just need clarification what areas really.
Yeah, I think page, it's right at the bottom of the report. There is, if I can find it, there are a list to which the orders do apply, which are on page 456 and 455. I think it is the other one. But basically, it's there will be notices, such as in Worden Park. There'll be the walled garden and various areas like that where dogs have to be on leads. But in other areas, then they will be free to, as long as they're under control, they will be free to roam. Right. Okay.
Are there any other comments? In the room, any members? No? Okay. On Teams, any comments or questions? No. Okay, thank you. Okay, then I'm happy to second that. And yeah, getting stuff back in place is always important, so that's really good. So can I ask all members, all Cabinet members to vote? Are we happy for this to go forward? Okay, that's lovely, thank you. So next we go to, we go to, unfortunately, we have to go to the exclusion of press and public. Before I do that, I would just like to say if there are any members of the public listening in, whilst this looks like quite a sparse chamber, it's just to demonstrate the workings of our council and the processes that we go through with Cabinet presenting to the wider group. So there are people on Teams and there are people in the chamber, but some people have work obligations and other duties. So the fact that they're not here doesn't mean that they're not representing our residents. So from that, I'll go to exclusion of press and public. We are now asked to exclude the press and public for the following items of business on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information, as defined in paragraph 3 of Part 1 of Schedule 12A to the Local Government Act in 1972. I propose that we exclude press and public. Can I have a seconder?
Seconded.
Okay, thank you. Can we move to the vote?